It is important to learn how to be content with what you have while also envisioning a life that you want, so that in both places you are satisfied and need little to even feel joy. This means that you control your own understanding of being content in the here and now and the moments we are creating currently. Most of our family recently went to a zoo, and the big thing that we enjoyed was this train ride. We could see the joy that our little one has in being in a little train for the first time. We're all excited. Look at Micah recording his brother. He's like, yay! And seeing Micah happy made me happy. We know this is something small, but it was just really nice. When we got off the train, Dane started crying because he didn't want to leave. Something I don't think I've ever mentioned on my channel before is that I write to many pen pals, and I don't often get little envelopes with goodies like this, but I wanted to show this artistic beauty that was sent to me. Some people are just very creative. Sometimes I just write a letter to a pen pal and that's it. Other times I'm like, okay, I'll make a fancy envelope. And then just other times, maybe I'll include some nice goodies, but it's not often, because I really don't buy goodies all the time to send to them. But I do my best. But it's so much fun when I get these and I can use the items for envelope art. I've been making my own envelopes for pen pals since 1996. What it was I had a camp counselor one year that made her own envelopes, and it inspired me, and I was like, hey, I want to try to do that too. So she showed me how she did it. I don't make envelopes like I once did, but I still do it once in a while. But look how cute this is. I love it. Look, they have a pocket for the letter. They had some questions they sent for me to answer. That was nice. People are unhappy with their lives because they aren't seeing the things in front of them to be thankful for. They are comparing to other people. Well, this person has a big house. This person has the best car. Instead of saying, well, I have a place that is mine to live in. I have a way to get from point A and point B. Does that mean that you can't want something more substantial for you? Maybe your car keeps breaking down. Maybe your house has mold or is falling apart. Regardless, be thankful for what you have while finding small ways to improve it. This is how minimalism works for me. I live in a very small home for a family of 5, but I'm happy and I don't mind it. Do I want my own property and house? Maybe one day, but what I have works, and we're happy and able to accomplish what needs to be done. Why are you laughing? What's so funny? I love making this vegan version of a Hungarian goulash. So these are just sausages all cut up and caramelized, and then I take them out to just sit for a bit. Then I put onions in and I cook those for a bit. I add some paprika and some smoked paprika too. I also add a couple cloves of garlic. This takes some time because I like to make sure that they soften. I dice up some potatoes and I add them, as well as mixing it with the onion mixture. Then I put a vegetable stock on top of it. You could do chicken stock or whichever type of version you want to make. You don't even have to do the vegan sausages. It's all up to you. But I let that boil for quite a while, and then I cover it for probably about 15-20 minutes. When the mixture soaks up some of the broth, I add the sausages back into it. I also put some parsley on it and some salt and pepper as well. I love how there's such a beautiful flavor to this that you don't normally get if you just make these separately. It's so good. In my years of quilting, I have kept all of my fabric pieces by color in these plastic bags, and I keep them in my closet with this storage unit next to the baby clothes here, as you see. I finally got some drawers for these. I've been wanting it for a long time. I thought it would make them look more organized. That way it's easier to see the fabric pieces. Look how much better that is. With minimalism, I don't have a lot of fabric at all, but I have some available to do some scrap quilts. This allows me to see what I have to work with so I can make more projects. And it looks much better put in there. I should have done a before picture video of what the fabric looked like in there, but with the bags just stacked on each other, it was not pretty. I have batting on the bottom and then an open area, which I'm not going to fill. This is also part of minimalism. You don't have to fill every little thing with something.
Hey, I just wanted to mention that earlier in my video I was talking about just different ways to be content. And so I just wanted to use like an example. Like for instance, when you want something, it's not a bad thing, but if you want it where it's like hurting you, that's a big problem. So like for instance, I want a dog one day. I used to have dogs growing up, and I had a dog earlier in my marriage, and then where we moved, where we live now, we are not able to have dogs anymore, and I really miss having dogs. But then I'm thinking, like, even though we're okay right now without having one, if I had one, I wouldn't be able to go on a vacation because I would have to find someone to watch the dog, or I would have to find somewhere where I could bring the dog, and then I'd have to worry about all that. So it's just like finding little ways to be content and to be like, okay, maybe one day I'll have one, and that's fine. So that's what I'm saying, like just trying to list positives and negatives to every little option that you have. So like if you need to buy a new car, so my car that I'm in right now, I got this in, I guess 2 years ago. I'm trying to think, I think it was 2 years ago now. And my other car I had for 11 years, it was falling apart. I was stuck on the road on a regular basis. Every year I had to jumpstart my car a couple times. I had to call people to come get me, and I did what I could. And then there was the last time that I drove it, I couldn't accelerate several times on the road, but this one time it was just so bad. I was on the highway going like 25 miles an hour and with my foot all the way on the pedal to go, and it just would not go. And then it was going like this, like moving like woo, 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 woo. It was really bad. And so I was just like, I've gotten this fixed several times. I've been tired of having to deal with all this and putting all this money towards this car. And even though I fully owned it because I paid it off really early, I was just like, I think it's time to say goodbye to this car and replace it. As much as I need it and could use it, I never really liked the car. I didn't pick it out for myself. I was just using it because I needed it. But it got to the point where I was like, it's time. So I replaced it with this one, which has been amazing. I love this car. I picked it out. It's the first car I ever got to pick out on my own. Everything was a hand-me-down. So after all these years of driving, I finally got to pick out what I wanted, and I love it. And I hope it lasts me another 20 years, if possible. That would be ideal. So it's just trying to be content, but understanding when it's time to replace something. And that's what minimalism for me tends to be about, where I see what I have and I say, okay, how does this benefit me right now? Or could I use something better? I think I'm okay with this. So it's just finding out, like I said, the pros and the cons. I did it for when I was deciding for so many things. Oh man, I could think of lists and lists that I've made over the years. And I always tell people to make pros and cons lists. So if you're out there and you know me, you know that I've said this before to you probably if you've come to me with things. So with minimalism, I'm like, okay, these are the items I own. This is what I need still. This is what I have that's useful and valuable to me. And that's that, you know, just, you don't have to keep going, well, I like this and I like this. Don't keep adding on what you like or think you need. Don't just buy things to buy things or believing that you need it when you don't. If you're like, oh, this is cute and you get it, no, don't do that. So that's how I function in my minimalism. Also, real quick, I wanted to just bring this by because I was talking about cars. I would love to just ride a bicycle around, and I've told multiple people this since I was a kid, that I would love to just have a bike. But this is where I have also had to weigh pros and cons to be like, how can I use a bike when I have 3 kids to transport around? Is it a safe area that I live in to have a bike? And ultimately, no. That is what I came down to. It's really, really unsafe for having a bicycle to drive around everywhere. So that's where it's like, okay, well, I need to do what I want now to do. So right now I'm driving everywhere. I don't drive far. I'm careful where I drive. So, but this is the car that it saves on gas. I only spend, I think, $20 every 2 weeks on my car, maybe every week $20. But considering gas prices are really high, I think that's pretty good. I don't like to just waste things. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. I am picking up my sons from school and they just got out, so I've got to go. Thanks for watching my video.